news, conflict is escalating between the U.S. and China on several fronts. And now the threat of military action looms. What's the latest flashpoint in this global standoff, and how could it demolish a world economy already reeling from the pandemic? George Thomas reports.
For the first time, the U.S. government this week declared China's activities in the South China Sea illegal.
On Monday, for the first time, we made our policy on the South China Sea crystal clear. It's not China's maritime empire.
Now this 4 million square kilometer shipping lane is turning into a major flashpoint. So much so that Representative Ted Yoho, the top Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee for Asia, sees potential military action ahead, telling the Washington Examiner, "I would predict there will be a clash within the next 3 to 6 months. Such a scenario would be devastating for a global economy already reeling from a viral pandemic. Some $3 trillion worth of trade passes through the South China Sea each year.
It is incredibly important to U.S. imports and exports, and incredibly important to many of our allies and partners. There are tremendous economic interest in maintaining the freedom of navigation and commerce through that area.
China wants to limit that access, claiming it has rights to almost all the South China Sea.
China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea are based on sufficient historical and jurisprudential evidence and are in line with the relevant international law and practice.
Pompeo pushing back, accusing China of breaking international law and urging world leaders to stand up to Beijing's expanding territorial ambitions.
If Beijing violates the international law and free nations do nothing, then history shows that the CCP will simply take more territory. That happened in the last administration.
America has opposed China's ambitions, including efforts to turn several islands and reefs into military outposts, complete with aircraft, runway, and high-tech capability.
This is a good old-fashioned, the biggest kid on the playground, if you will, trying to bully others, to steal their resources, and to push others who might get in their way out, and foremost of that is the United States.
Since taking power, China's President Xi Jinping has embarked on a massive military modernization. Bowman says China's military prowess is the greatest threat to U.S. military supremacy, and we could see it play out in these waters. America now has 2 aircraft carriers taking part in one of its largest naval exercises in the South China Sea.
If we just rest on our laurels and assume that battles in the coming years are going to be the same as they were in the past with unquestioned American military dominance, we have a horrible surprise coming.
This latest salvo over the South China Sea coming as tensions between our two countries continue to escalate over trade, the coronavirus pandemic, Hong Kong, human rights, and religious freedom issues. George Thomas, CBN News.
Xi is violating the power of God. There was a tremendous move of God among the Chinese people, and I forecast a couple of years ago that China would become the largest Christian nation on the face of the earth. But Xi has viciously repressed religious minorities. He's tried to re-educate the Muslim Uyghurs. It is just horrible what he has done. He has closed churches, forbidden the worship of God, and now he's embarking on a military course that is going to lead to a clash. And as that one expert said, it's very possible within the next few months that we could see a shooting war in China, because we're not going to allow them to exert hegemony over that tremendous body of water that will also threaten Japan and North and South Korea and all that entire Southeast Asian area. And we're not going to allow the Chinese to have it. And they say, well, it's ours. And we say, no, it's not. It's a big body of water, and it's an important trade route, and we're not going to let you have it. Whew. That means possibility of war, which none of us would like to see. Well, in other news, half the country is seeing spikes in death rates from COVID-19.